that we would record so that I could share and make sure the ESC directors get this because they need this information about the family team staffings and about the interventions that we're doing for the kids across the region. And some of these guys wear two or three hats. There's Melissa Smith from Bay County, right there with their student wellness program. Um, Coming into the room. And they need to know that. They need to know about the resources that we got available. And we need to get it out to as many folks. The more problem solving that we can do at the school level, which is the center of the community here in all of our small rules, and also in truth, in Bay County. You know, Bay County's got a huge infrastructure down there for the school system, all the rest of that. But it all comes down to, Cedar Grove or Parker Elementary or Highland Park or, each one of the individualized communities around Panama City and in Panama City that have the schools. That's really the point of contact for a lot of our families. So I will officially welcome everybody to the SEDNET 2A Circuit 14 uh, quarterly advisory meeting and all. We've got three speakers today. Now that we're recording, we'll say it again. Lexi Harris is here with Northwest Florida Health. We're going to have Mr. Manny with Share Your Heart um, Charities is going to be here, and we're also going to have Madeline that works here at PAEC, who's brand new to our Fiddlers group and is doing our parent services. She's going to be here to talk about all the things that they've got going on because we know that connecting to the families is the most important part. All right, Ms. Lexi, thank you so much for uh, giving us the time and giving us the data and the information about all the great things that you guys do.
Thank you so much, Rusty, for giving us the opportunity and platform to share this information with you guys. So like Rusty said, I'm Lexi Harris. I am the Behavioral Health Network Supervisor for Circuit 14 with NWF Health Network, working on the managing entity side of the agency. So that covers a lot of the behavior health, substance abuse services that are provided to our communities for people who do not have insurance or are underinsured, meaning that they have Medicaid and those type of insurances. So we'll just jump right into it. All right, so again, just touching on what NWF does. Okay. So again, we are a network management agency. We provide services for child protection and behavior health services in the Northwest Florida region. So we provide services from the Madison-Taylor counties all the way over to Pensacola, so a very large part of the state. And we are ensuring that our communities are receiving the services needed, whether they're behavior health, child protection, things of that nature. All right, our mission is to provide the highest quality of child protection and behavior health services to children and adults and their families within our communities through our managed network of accredited providers. And I have another slide that has a listing of some of the providers that we work with. And there's also, I'm going to touch on some resources where you can find those services on our NWF Health Connects platform. Our vision is to create local ownership and effective integration of child protection and substance abuse mental health systems. So I am responsible for providing or offering or heading up a meeting that we have with our child protection teams and our local service providers to ensure that those populations are receiving the best care. And then that is happening in all of our 18 communities. By doing so, we believe that the quality of life for children, adults, and families we serve will dramatically improve, resulting in personal independence and stronger communities. So definitely aligning with the missions and visions of our DCF partners, ensuring that our communities are receiving the best care and are able to access that care at any level, no matter where they are. So one of the things that our agency provides is a family team staffing that happens in each circuit. For our circuit, we manage that process. In other circuits, the network service providers handles that process, but we keep it in-house for Circuit 14. So usually those meetings and staffing invites will come from Danica Rolak. She's on my team for the Circuit 14. So these meetings aim to provide a platform to address the challenges faced by children who are not under the supervision of DCF. So we would look at those children as more so community children who are still in the care of their parent, or whether it's a family member, things of that nature. They're in the community, they do not have any DCF involvement. So in those instances, sometimes those children are facing numerous Baker Acts, potentially being kicked out of school, potentially not being able to return to their home because of the behaviors being unmanageable. So we usually try to staff those children when it gets to a level where it's like things are just bubbling up and getting out of control, and we try to bring everybody together in one platform that are helping the family to manage those crises. So these children can be facing, numerous behavioral issues. They can be facing homelessness. We just had a staffing this week for a child who her and her father are facing homelessness, and we were able to work with our community providers to put them up in a hotel for a couple days as we work towards getting them housed. So there's multiple avenues and multiple ways that we can work with families depending on what the circumstance is. Another possibility is potential DCF involvement. Perhaps there has been some um, uh, there has been a DCF report put out maybe by the school or a service provider because they see some potentially dangerous things happening in the home, and they want to avoid having DCF step in and remove the child from the home. So things of that nature. And we have this because families are struggling, which often leads to disruptions in the school environment, home life. And so there's very high need, and it's a very important process so that we can help families navigate the system, because sometimes families just don't know where to turn, what to do, especially with children who are having very significant behaviors and needing to manage and move through these complex systems sometimes, such as dealing with APD and things like that. All right, so there are staffing tiers for the family team staffing process. So what we would like to see happen at the tier 1 level is that these youth are being staffed either through the school system. So usually, from what I understand, I think Rusty may come in and have like an internal staffing within the school environment, or the schools are having their own internal process for staffing youth that may have some issues where they just need to be connected to a therapist or just connected to a psychiatrist, or they need some type of referral to kind of catch them early. And so this process may look different for each agency depending on, what you guys have established in that for that process, and what that would look like for you. So if that staffing does not resolve the challenges that are coming up, then the agency would refer to NWF as a family team staffing, and that would be through a simple link. You just fill in all the information and hit send, or I think you just hit enter, and then it'll send an email alert to us, and then we will review that referral, and then reach out to the family, reach out to the referral source, and talk through what's going on with the family so we can get a better idea of what's happening and how to move forward with the staffing. So the staffing is like an interagency meeting. This is a meeting that will have the insurance provider, whoever is being whoever is working with the child from the school district. It could be folks from APD or DCF, literally anyone who has some type of involvement or who may have some type of involvement moving forward will be invited to that staffing, so everybody can hear and learn what's going on with the family, and then we can all try to focus on what the solutions could be moving forward and help the family to manage and become more stable. So usually at this process, what we would like to see is that the child is involved in some type of service that has not been effective, whether that's receiving therapy, targeted case management, or they're with the CAT team, things of that nature, or they're even with APD and things are not being resolved, and maybe they're not able to transition to a group home as quickly as they need to, and they need some type of intervention while they're in the community. So the child must be in some type of crisis for this staffing. So 2 or more hospitalizations on a Baker Act, involved with DJJ, potential daycare disruptions or school disruptions, and a potential for being kicked out of their parents' home. And so at that level, we'll try to, we will staff the client, the parents are involved in that staffing, and we will work through whatever the solutions may be, whether that is linking them to another service that can help the family navigate the APD referral process, or navigating, helping the child get to a residential program, things like that. So if things do not resolve at the family team staffing level, the child is still exhibiting some significant behaviors, or they're still experiencing multiple Baker Acts, they're being sent all over the state for help and things of that nature, we will send a referral to DCF for a local review team, and that will go up to Missy Lee. She is the community development leader. I forget her title, but she's with the community development team with DCF. And so at that time, the family team staffing has been completed, community efforts have been exhausted, and the need has not resolved. And the staffing is facilitated by the community development administrator with DCF. That would be Missy Lee. And then if things do not resolve at that point in time, then it will be sent up for a state review with DCF, and the CDA at that time will refer the family to the state review level. All right, so jumping into the data that we have at this time. So I added data from 2023 to 2024 fiscal year, and then what I have year to date for 2024 to 2025. So these are the numbers of staffings that our team has been involved with for the fiscal year of 2023, 2024. And so I have on here the tier ones, because at times we do receive family team staffing referrals that do not rise to the crisis level that we typically like to see to facilitate a family team staffing, but it may be something simple as being involved in providing technical assistance to the agency to say, hey, you might need to have a tier one staffing with your staff to just see what you guys can put in place for the family at this point in time. And we will not invite ourselves, but ask to be involved in that meeting so that we can assist and provide any ideas that that we may have to kind of help catch the family at an earlier point. So right here we have tier ones that we were involved with last year. There were 18, and then for last year for tier two staffings, the family team staffing, there was 26. So this is another data point. It's broken down by county. As you can see, for tier ones, for Bay County, we had 9. For Calhoun, we had 4. For Holmes County, we had 1. And for Washington County, there was 4. As you can see there, Gulf County is not on this graph because we normally do not receive staffing referrals from Gulf County. They usually have a pretty tight-knit and staffing process that they have. So we do not see very many referrals coming from that area. For tier two staffings, we had 17 for Bay, 3 for Calhoun, 3 for Holmes, and 3 for Jackson last year. As far as referral sources, so this is where the referrals are coming from. For tier two staffings, when it says community, that's usually whether that's Heidel House, Life Management Center, different providers, and then DCF, that's usually the CPIs, and then from DJJ, that's usually coming from the JPO staff. So as you can see, there's quite a bit coming from the community last year. There was 20, and then for tier ones, we had 11 from the community, 6 from DCF, and 1 from DJJ. Our outcomes for last year. So pretty much when it says for tier one connected to community services and diverted from deeper end services, that's meaning that the child was able to be connected to a community provider, whether that's LMC for care coordination or to the CAT team, things of that nature. There was 17 that was connected for tier one staffings, and then for tier two staffings, there was 22. As you can see from this process, sometimes children do end up being sheltered by DCF. At last year, there was only two that was sheltered. And then one child was admitted to a DJJ program coming out of a tier one process. And then two was referred to our LRT staffings. All right. And so this is what we have year to date. At this point in time, we had 19 tier one staffings from July 2024 up until November 2024. And then for tier two, there have been 20. And then for tier twos for each county, Bay, there was 8. For Holmes, there was 4. For Jackson, there was 4. And for Washington, there was 4. And then as far as tier one staffings, there was only 1 for the Calhoun, Jackson, and Washington areas. And then there was 16 for Bay. And then as far as the referral source, so for our tier two staffings, the family team staffing, 6 of the referrals came from our child welfare population or staff members. So that may have been post-adopts or a what they call a there's different processes when our child welfare teams get involved with families and they may not meet to the level of being removed, but they're still in the home. So they call those in-home, non-judicial youth. And then we had 2 community youth for tier 2 staffings. There was 6 that came from our CPIs, and then 2 came from DJJ and 4 came from Heidel House. And then as far as the staffing outcomes for our family team staffings, there have been, it looks like 3 were sheltered here. I should have had the numbers here. I didn't realize. And then it looks like 16 were connected to community services and diverted from deeper end services. 1 was referred to an LRT. And then as far as our tier ones, there was quite a bit that was connected to services. Alrighty, so this is a slide that shows some of the community partners that we have contracts with. Like I said, we have contracts with Life Management Center, Gulf Coast CAC, Twin Oaks. We have contracts with like Appalachie Center and Parent Care and things of that nature. We also have here our behavior health provider matrix. This is a very great tool to use whenever you are having your tier one staffings or your internal staffings and trying to figure out where you can refer a family to for services to start. It has a lot of great information on what the provider is, what the description of the program is, what they are able to offer, in what area that service is being provided. So for instance, for care coordination, those services are being provided throughout all of Circuit 14, whereas for EPIC, that program is an early psychosis intervention team, and they are only in Bay County at this time. And so right here on the side, there is a QR code. If you would like access to this matrix, you can just scan that code and it'll take you right to it. And it also has an area in here where you can make referrals or know how to get in contact with the provider to make a referral. We also have NWF Health Connects. This is a platform where you are able to find various services for your area specifically. You put in your zip code and you can find things like food banks, housing resources, transit, education, mental health services. Just plug in your zip code and it will provide a list of various resources in your area. There's a QR code here on the slide to take you right to that platform. And I believe it's also an app. So you can also find NWF Health Connects in your app store. We also have a service called Test. It is an AI chatbot that you kids can, or even adults can send text messages to when they're feeling overwhelmed or feeling lonely, and the chatbot will provide different resources or listens and help you or provide tips to help with your emotions at that point in time. If a child were to say anything or text anything that's alarming, the it will send an alert to one of our team members who will then alert local MRT and law enforcement to check on the youth. Information. If anybody ever has any questions or have any suggestions or just want to ask questions about the data, anything like that, I'm very open to that. Please feel free to give me a call at any time, and there's my email address. And I am in the Panama City area in that office, but I'm all around the circuit at all times, all of throughout the weeks. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Rusty, to provide that data, and I will stop sharing my screen. Is there any questions?
Hey, I was noticing in the data there that it looks like from 23 24 that this, half of the school year, this that we've already exceeded the number of that we had the previous year. And I guess that's probably because the system's up and running and more people are aware. In other words, um, are more efficient in getting people referred.
Yes, I think so. The advent of the link that we provided when we first sent it out, there was a big boost in referrals at that time. So for the month of November and December, it has not been that high, but when it first came out at the beginning of the school year and things of that nature, we were really rocking and rolling with staffings, of course.
And do you guys get very many FTS referrals from, say, schools? Have we had any school systems that send directly to you? I know that our family service planning team, which is a tier one that we've done for years and years through SEDNET, that we have some districts that use it on a regular basis. I get referrals all the time. And I have other districts that we've done one or two of those meetings over the last, say, 2 or 3 years and all. And my perception always was that they were, better connected. And also some of these school systems are very small and
Mhm.
they don't have a lot of kids that are in crisis and all. But are there any challenges as far as that's concerned?
I know in the beginning of the year, we were seeing quite a bit of referrals coming from some elementary schools that we kind of deemed were tier ones because they just didn't rise to that crisis level. So we did see some of that. We had a couple come from Parker and from Highland Park recently, but otherwise it seems that through our DJJ action staffing, that's where we get most of the youth that may have had concerns in the school district. We kind of staff them there. So I haven't seen that many coming from the school district at that time. So the most I've been seeing the staffing's coming from the referrals coming from Heidel House, DJJ, and those agencies where the kids are probably dealing with some excessive behaviors.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, and I know that at the school level, we don't always have someone who's experienced, has been there for a while, that's participated before in the past. And, this is one of the efforts to try and get that information out. But we've also had some changes in leadership here in the last couple of years. Bay County has a new ESC director that's been there, but I think this is her third year. Um, there's a new director in Gulf County, um, in Washington, and Jackson County. It's either her second or third year in. So Um, before in
And
the
I have
past.
met with the various school district mental health directors
Hmm.
over the last few months, and we do have a standard meeting that's quarterly
Ah.
for our school and community provider collaboration meeting.
Hmm.
So that's coming back up in January. So I think that everybody is pretty much aware of the process potentially, I hope. So I mean, if you hear anything on your side that's different, please let me
But
know. But
and see that's a good question for me because sometimes I'm included in those, like in Bay County. I know that I'm included in the one that they've done there. And Miss Melissa took over from Ken Chisholm, and that do you do each one of these different districts at a different meeting, or all the districts are invited to that one?
so last year I had it where everybody was invited to one, but I split it up this year just for the sake of um, it not being a very large meeting with a bunch of people and we're all talking about different things. And I felt that splitting it up between Calhoun County, Holmes County, Washington County, so that it's a little more intimate in a way where they probably are having some of similar issues than in comparison to Bay County. And then Bay, Jackson, and Gulf is separated and have their own meetings. So it's two separate meetings, but the six counties are split in between those meetings.
All right, and whenever you guys are doing the invitations, all I'd love to be invited to all the meetings.
Yes,
I
yes.
may not be able to make them, but SEDNET is the one educational agency that kind of connects everybody in the circuit. And if there's some way I could slip into their districts and help them with some of the connection issues and all, then that would be a great way to find out and talk about that. You know.
Yes, of course.
All right. Thank you.
Excuse me, I
Yes,
got a
ma'am.
question,
All
please.
right.
Um, Miss Lexi, the
Yes, ma'am.
chatbot, okay? How do you, I'm assuming that it is more or less anonymous. How do you, if a person makes a comment about that they're going to harm themselves, how do you in fact hook up services to that person in a timely manner to hopefully avoid a problem? And if they are underage, how do you let the parent know what is happening? And do you in turn check up on them after the fact?
So I personally do not check up on them. The alert would go to, I believe, a staff member over in Tallahassee, who will then in turn reach out to local agencies to check in on that person. So in that sense, I don't believe it is anonymous in that way because you're using your
Mhm,
phone number to text this chatbot, and they will be able to connect with you through that phone number, or
mhm.
however you contacted the AI chatbot. But I can get more information on that for you and send it over through email because I'm
The
not.
the reason I was asking is because my part of the job in Title V is to be a family leader or family representative. And I just wondered, how it would be laid out before the parent if this is a child that is not of age, and how would that work out to get them extra help that they may need
Mhm.
for the family as well as the child. And
Mhm.
does that alert go to a person, say if they call from Bay County, does it go to an MRT team in Bay County? Is it
So
like an
if
immediate response?
yes, ma'am. So the alert would go to somebody in Tallahassee, and that Tallahassee person would contact the MRT in the local area.
Okay, so how, now here's another question, because I have been trying to make an Excel spreadsheet for the behavioral health hubs throughout the state for the CAT teams and MRT teams. had a heck of a time trying to find out information on a lot of different teams around. So I'm wondering, does Tallahassee have, or who in Tallahassee has a most recent up-to-date MRT and CRT team list? How do you know that it's getting to the places it needs to go? How do you know that?
So you're asking how does the alert for the chat bot gets to the correct person?
Right. Say if Tallahassee is, it seems like it's, and I'm not trying to be ugly or nothing, but it seems like a glorified gossip line there. If you got to go from the chat bot to Tallahassee to somebody else to back to where the person was, I just wondered why it didn't alert a MRT team or CRT team within
So,
the area that the child is.
so I can step in. I can answer that. So
Okay, thank you.
so our connect. So we pay for this service, right? It's not just it's a closed chat bot.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it's with Appalachia that
Mm-hmm.
manages it for the region. And so if certain words are used, it alerts that team because our agreement, contract, whatever you want to call it, is specifically, with Appalachia to manage tests. And so that's why it goes to that team, because there's some things, right? Like, they may use slang words that may not require like someone to run out there, right? And so it goes to a person to review it and then determine those next steps as well. And we can, like Lexi said, if you want the details, like more details, that's something we can definitely, she can reach out. We can get that for you of like the who and exactly how that works.
Yes, ma'am.
But it is set up that way to go to a, it'll flag to review the context of what was in the chat to see, do we need to alert someone to get out there right now, kind of thing. So wherever they are.
And Miss Kelly, like I said, I'm not trying to be ugly or facetious or anything. It's just that, I wonder, because, we all are short-staffed. Okay.
Right.
But how long does it take if there is an urgent need to get from Tallahassee to back to you guys or wherever? I just am curious. I don't know.
Yeah. And we can get those details because, and that's why it goes to MRT team because they're 24/7.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and we can get the minutia. I think that's what you're asking of. What are the logistics of how does it alert? What does that alert look like? And
yeah,
because they are a 24/7 team. And I don't know. So, and anyone can text tests. So I have,
yes, ma'am.
Before and they follow it's, and we're constantly giving feedback and it'll follow up with you. Like I get texts from Tess periodically, like, hey, just checking in. I mean, it's a different type of resource. It's not meant to take the place of like in-person service. It's a complement, something that's available 24/7. So if you have, teenager that in the middle of the night, whatever, that may look like, or maybe they won't go to a real person, but they'll, we know our teens love to text.
Yes, ma'am.
We do too. That is our world. And so it's just another resource, that's available that, people might use, whereas they might use anything.
And I still, I'm an older person, but, I still think that there are some parents or in my generation that don't really understand what AI is, and they're not quite sure how that would help them. Is there a place that you have for parents to go to learn more about this test chatbot?
So no, we don't. I can provide the flyers and any other one-page information to Rusty, and you can send it out to the team to kind of you can read up on and share with the community if you would like.
Okay.
I don't know, Kelly, is there? I don't think we have any like videos that explain tests.
Because, I was also trying to make some sort of resource page for parents and caregivers of children and youth with special health care needs, particularly. And so adding something like that as a resource would be a good thing, but I just need to understand it a little better, or however you guys are promoting it in the community. I need to know that so that we can do it correctly. So thank you,
Of
ladies.
course. Thank you.
Yep, and it's not just for the kids, right?
No,
That-
adults can use it as
Yeah.
well.
And I think
Yeah.
that that's probably the way that most of us who did not have a phone in our pocket when we were in high school and all, and I'm in that group that get comfortable with things is actually trying them out and all. So if we can get those folks used to interacting with it, and there's the uh, in the chat there's the link to be able to get a hold of the information and all that. Like Lexi said, she can send that out. And so it might be something that we start encouraging parents to actually do. If they have a child that has those needs and may actually need to use it's always better. I never let my kids do anything that I hadn't tried before, or that I wasn't comfortable with. Um, just providing them with that kind of access. What would the AI say? And
Yeah.
AI has a negative connotation for a lot of people. They don't trust it. And all, and it's not until people actually use it and see it's not harmful at all. It's helpful. But we have a long history of not trusting the machines that serve us and all. It's one of my favorite things to watch in movies, right? Is that the evil robots are going to get us one day. Well,
Yeah.
it might be the robot that's talking to you on your phone. And we all get calls every day, and sometimes we'll pick them up. And 90% of those people who are calling us about different products and things like that, it's AI, you know. And also we've been talking to them for a long time. But that will be a good thing. That's another thing that we've got to educate parents on, though, because like you said, we can't cover the needs that we have now.
And there is, and if you just want to let Lexi know, the school systems there, we have palm cards, there's posters. I know Washington County, we've taken some too, requested some. Because I mean, the reality is that most kids have cell phones these days, and that you can't it's almost impossible to monitor everything, and it's just information. Because it wouldn't be a test isn't like a referral. It's you literally put in the number and you text it. So, and then there is information on our website about tests. So I put the link to that in there.
Thank you.
And then I'm on my phone. I couldn't tell who was talking earlier.
Oh, it was Miss Debbie.
Miss Debbie.
Yeah.
Our NWF Health Connects as well. I don't know, Lexi, if you've talked about that resource, if you're putting together a resource book.
In the chat, I put a
Connects.
snippet,
Okay.
yeah, of the QR for the resource, and so that you guys could have that connection there, and all. And it'll be one of the documents that I send out to the districts when we send this to them. As well, is that little snip so that they can, whenever they see it, they can just use their phone and jump on there. Some people like QR codes and other people do not. I have learned how to use them. I am not a big fan myself, but we use them a lot in our parent education programs, and all. Because most people that's the easiest way for them to be able to get
Is that information something that's put on the parent portals at the schools? If not, it could be. That could help too.
Yeah, and that's something that hopefully our our student wellness programs in each one of the districts, that make available as part of their websites. I don't know about our special education programs, whether or not they've got that information there, but it's not just meant for our kids that have disabilities, it's meant for everybody.
And
So,
there, it's an app in the App Store as well. Like I have it on both my work and personal phone because it's easy to, like if someone asks for something, it's easy for me just to click on the app and put in a zip code, because people are always asking, do you know this? Because it's not just for services, it's food, housing, like any
yes.
kind of thing. So it is in the App Store on both Android and Apple.
Yeah,
Well,
and at some point, I'd love to connect with you guys and let you, and try and get everybody to push that our guidance staff at all of our schools in the region might actually be able to participate in a short session about just that they're constantly dealing with folks that the food is short. We know kids do not function well whenever they don't eat, and whenever they're uh, trying their best. These parents don't always get them there on time, so they miss breakfast, and then until lunch, you have. I was just at a school yesterday and saw kids that were not functioning well until they got their lunch, and then they were able to concentrate on what they need to do in the classroom. And that was, one of the principles that we had in my class at the alternative school was that we always have food, and if you didn't get there on time, we're still going to feed you because that's not a behavior that is a problem of the student. It's usually a behavior issue of the parent and all. And so, connecting these guidance staff to the real resources out there that can help them fill those bellies, cover those heads, housing, and helping people coordinate and all. If we could make those things really happen for these kids, then these kids will learn more, they will be more successful, and we will have we'll have citizens that can fend for themselves down the road one day, and all. And that's our goal at schools.
but Mr. Rusty, a caution as to the comment you made, and I know how you meant it.
Oh,
Okay,
what was that?
about the it wasn't a behavior problem, it was a
Ah,
problem with the parents. We don't always know exactly the circumstances
and that's
surrounding why
very,
they're
that's
late.
very, very true.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, we don't want to give anybody the impression that, oh, these are just bad parents. We don't know what happened
yeah.
before they
Yeah,
got there,
you're
you
very
know.
right. You're very right. And it's like I said, it's not in the hands of the kids many times. And maybe
Right.
that's a better way to say it right there.
And like I said, I knew how you meant it. You didn't
Mhm.
mean it that way. I
No,
understood that. I was
that's
just
right.
messing with you too.
My kids didn't get to school on at the right time, each and every day either. Sometimes it was not their fault, and many times it is not the kids' faults, at all. It's the world. All right, thank you guys for all that information and all. I've got Miss Madeline Thorne here with Fiddlers. I haven't seen Mr. Mandy come up with Share Your Heart, but he may come in
I'm
anytime.
here.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to let Madeline jump in real quick because she's got just a couple of minutes, and then she's got to go to another presentation that she's participating in as part of her work here at PAEC. And then we'll get you in there to talk about the Share Your Heart program.
Thanks, Rusty. Hey, I'm Madeline Thorne. I am the Parent and Family Resource Specialist here at the Fiddlers Program housed at PAC. I see so many names that I'm very familiar with from other capacities that I've served in the past. So I know many of you personally already. But my role in this season at Fiddlers is to make sure that all of our parents, we cover 9 counties, have all the resources that they need to support their learners, their exceptional education learners in school, to make sure that we are educating them and our teachers on, new developments and behavior strategies. We just wrapped up a whole quarter of behavior management classes for parents. I had the privilege of speaking virtually and in person at schools. at a couple different parent nights that has been able to teach parents how to, better manage their kiddos' behaviors, how to reinforce positive behaviors and redirect, unwanted, challenging behaviors, and how to support teachers in that initiative at school as well. We've got a lot of upcoming trainings in the next quarter after Christmas. So I'll make sure to push that information and those flyers out when we have it. But looking forward to more opportunities to be able to connect with our teachers and caregivers across the area to make sure that they have the resources and skills they need to support their learners at home and at school.
I had turned my mic off there. Well, thank you so much. We haven't had someone who specializes in making those connections with the parents and doing parent training here in quite some time. It's great to have somebody on to fill that spot, to really take that and make that a focus of what they're doing. You're up and running, and I know that we were at the Fiddlers Institute. You got several approved presentations that are ready to go out there. That executive functioning presentation that we've done for teachers for years, having a parent version of that, I thought was a real boon for parent services, so that we can really help the parents, with these issues where kids are not doing self-regulation. Whenever they come into the school system, we've had quite an explosion here in the last couple of years of behaviors that we didn't used to deal with. By the time kids got into, say, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, um, and that's a great need out there, is to help parents be prepared to help their kids learn these self-regulation skills. All right. Thank you a bunch. And I know that you had to take
Thank
time away
you.
from another
My
work
pleasure.
function that you're doing and all, but I appreciate you coming.
Thanks, Rusty.
Thanks. All right. There he is. All right, the man of the hour. Thanks so much for coming. I totally missed you on the list. I looked back over my list again and all, and I was like, well, there's his name right there. I can't believe I missed it and all that. Thank you so much for coming in and talking about this resource. We're recording this so that our districts will have, the information, and they can share this information out with the folks who are hopefully at the schools that are working directly with kids and families that have these needs. And we know that the school, in my opinion, the schools are the hub of the community, or one of the major hubs of the community. And people out in these rural areas and all, they may have their own local churches, their own local organizations, and all the rest of that. But almost everybody goes to the same school. We have very few kids that are going to private schools and things like that, especially in our small and rural. Everybody comes together, so that's usually where, if a need comes up, then we need to address it. We need to help connect these families to resources and all. And your program, whatever, I watched the presentation with Missy Lee and all, sounded like a great opportunity for our folks in the local communities.
Thank you very much, Rusty. Thank you for the invite, and thank you for everybody that's here today. It is a privilege just to present the program to you guys. Again, we're Victory for Youth. I'm Pastor Manny Arizo. I direct North Florida area. And here I'm based in Tallahassee right now. And we've been here in Tallahassee for the past going on 3 years and something, and growing. It's a learning experience up here in the North. We've been doing this since 1998 in South Florida, and we've been building throughout the state. Started down there where we are. That's our head base is down there. Headquarters is there. But I'm here, and we have offices now in Panama City. We are working in Chipley, Pensacola, Gaston County, and here in Leon. Okay, and hopefully moving along the Northwest area here. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It's a faith-based organization. And what we mainly do is our mission is to help families, help people that are going through crisis, help people that are going in distress, that are in need of essential needs like food, clothing, people that are homeless, children. We meet so many children that are going through distress and crisis because of lack of what you were saying a few minutes ago, lack of food. That's a primary thing. If your belly is not full, you can't move. We see children where we go to homes and take food because our program, we work with school guidance counselors. We work with DCF, with the CPIs, and other agencies like Fellowship of Christian Athletes and different agencies around town, Sheriff's Department, that refer us cases where they see there's a family going through crisis. Our thing is prevention. We don't want them to become a case for DCF. If we can prevent that right there is a goal. Right there is a point for us to prevent that family from becoming a case. See how we can help that family move forward in life, get out of that crisis they're going through. Connect them. We try to connect them to a local church. Most of our volunteer chaplains are from local churches, even though we serve anyone. I don't care what faith you are, what religion you believe, what you're from, we serve you. If you're in need, we will serve you. If we receive a referral from you or you call us, we will serve you. There is no questions about that. But we try to connect the people to local churches because we believe that once they're connected to a local church or their faith organization that can help them, that they huddle around them. We work together very much with Safe Families, with Kathy. And that's what they do. They huddle around a family. They come together and huddle around a family. We take a family, and once we receive a referral, we work with them for 90 days. Work with them for 90 days means we call them. If we have to visit them, we go visit them. If they need more food, we take more food to them. If the child needs clothing, we try to clothe them. If whatever else they need. Mainly is connecting them to other agencies also because we can't do it all ourselves. So if there's another agency that can provide, let's say somebody needs utilities to pay for utilities, we try to connect them to that agency. They need rent, we try to connect them to someone that can help them with the rent. Transportation, we try to connect them with that. So it's connecting them to other agencies at the same time, giving them that hope there is a better tomorrow. Telling that parent that even though you're a single mother and you see the children the way they are, you know what? There's a hope. There's a hope. If you believe, there's a hope. We're there to help you. There's a lot of people out there to help you. We find that when people are in crisis, they don't see much. They're blind right there. And they don't see that. I mean, you can be knocking on the door and they don't know who you are. We try to tell them that there's people out there that care for them, that they're in crisis, but we're going to be together with them. We're going to throw that rope to that hole and try to lift them out of that. We tell their children that there's also a better tomorrow, that they were not born to be in that condition. I tell the children all the time that, hey, what condition you're in today doesn't mean you're going to stay there forever. Have hope. Have faith. Trust God. He can do it for you. We are there to help you. We're working on a program now called Adopt a Block, which is we go to, like here in Tallahassee, we go to, let's say, Griffin area. And we go there every 15 days with a card and some volunteers. We knock on doors. What do you need? How are you doing? We got cookies for the kids. We got water. We got juice. We take them some food to them too. Doesn't mean they had to call us. We go there so they know that there's people in the community that care for them. This is what it's all about, is caring for the people, caring for those families that are going through crisis, and helping them out. And this is mainly what we do. What our difference between us and let's say a food bank or a pantry, we take the food to the houses. We go straight to the homes. We receive a referral and we go to them. They don't have to come to us. Even though a lot of people say, can we go to you? And definitely, yes, you can come to our office at certain times and we can help you there. But we like to go to the houses and see them at their place so they can see that we are not just in an office so they can come, is that we go to them and meet them in their place of need.
And let me ask, how do folks get a hold of you guys? How do we refer people? How do we, it's great to hear that you guys have spread to Chipley. I know that you were in the larger communities, as you came in, which is natural. That's what we're used to here in the Panhandle. Is it's got to get started in our larger communities, and then we can grow out of that to our smaller communities and all. So how do folks get people in connection with Save Your Heart, Share Your Heart?
If you go into our website, shareyourheart.us, you can see there's actually a barcode that you can get our app and put it in your phone. And you can do a referral straight from your phone. Let's say you see a family or you go out to a family and you see that there's a need, you can do a referral right there from the app right to us. Or if you go into shareyourheart.us, it says there are referrals. You can do a referral right there. It tells you different areas where we're at. And let's say it says Leon County Schools, it says Santa Rosa School District, Sheriff's Department, or DCF. Doesn't matter. You can click on, if you're not there, if your agency's not there with us, we don't have a partnership with their agency, doesn't matter. We will still serve your people.
All right.
Pastor Manny,
That's great.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry. I looked on findhelp.org,
Yes.
which is a place that, we tell people to punch their zip code in and all. I don't find you on there.
We should, because we are
maybe
there.
I've got a glitch or something, but
You
I
can
didn't
go to
find you.
Try to see if you see Victory, because we are Victory for Youth / Share Your Heart.
Okay, so that may have been the problem. I think I did see Victory for Youth.
Yes.
Okay, so that was a misnomer for me. I apologize. How do you, other than depending upon the sheriff's department or other organizations in the community, how do you let people know that you're there if they don't know to type in findhelp.org? How do you get it out in the community that you're someone that may help people?
All right, we do like this kind of meetings. We go to churches and let them know there. Like I said, most of our chaplains, or all of them, come from different churches, because we work with different organizations, different churches. We got chaplains from Northwest Florida Health. We got chaplains from different schools. We got school guidance counselors or chaplains, and from churches. Volunteers from the churches are our chaplain. And that's the way we try to spread it out,
Yes, sir.
the news out there to people. We are here. We do events
Yes,
to let people know, like Thanksgiving, we gave away 300 Thanksgiving meals, including a turkey. And that way we let people know that we are here at the here in Leon County or wherever we're doing that.
Because I live in Quincy.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have a good amount of Hispanic people that are in the community. And I just wonder if they really know about you guys.
Well,
I don't know.
I work with Dr. Ponce.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
before she retired.
Maria, yeah.
Yes. And now I met the new person there. I forgot her name right now, but I work also with Fabiola there.
Okay.
and we've made a pantry there before, and we've given them bags of food because we also do that. In
Yes,
like
sir.
the ESS where people go for their food stamps, we try to build a pantry there with some bags of food because I know that if you go to get your food stamps, you never get it immediately. And if
Right.
you go there, it's because you have a need.
Right.
So we tell them, give them a bag of food.
Yes, sir. Well, I thank you for that because um I I have a deep concern for the Hispanic community because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
am married into there. So I want to be sure that they are also looked out for because a lot of
Yes,
times they are ones that will not ask for help. They're more
yes,
quiet and in the background. And so I just wanted to be sure we were sharing the news with them. So
yes,
thank
ma'am.
you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's great. All right, so I put in the chat pod the different, the different websites and the different, taglines like Victory for Youth and slash Share Your Heart. And like I said before, this will be shared out with our school districts as well. Really getting down to that community level to let them know that, here's another resource. Last time we got together, we talked about 211, which was, a group that has a contract to connect people to resources in this region and really making sure that not only all of our projects, like Miss Debbie working with CMS and with us working with the state IDA projects, that we want to make sure that these families that find themselves in crisis, that they find those, that hand up, and this fit the bill, really well for me. It's another resource, but it's a resource not everybody is, aware of. As a matter of fact, we know, but people are comfortable with different kinds of resources, and some people are comfortable with resources, and chaplains, and working through that. You mentioned. Fellowship with Christian Athletes and being a football coach here for the last 30 years, I've seen the great things that they have done. I was also a scout leader for more than 20 years. We would go scouting for food, and we would gather food and money, and then those kids, we would take that food, and it would go to one of the local pantries, or it would go to organization like yours, or it would go to one of the backpacking for food programs. Like in Jackson County, we had a backpacking for food program for many years, and they still do. And that really meets a need that most people don't see on a regular basis and all. So thank you guys so much. I know that our team here at PAC is gathering food for a family that we're sponsoring, a Christmas dinner for, or a holiday dinner for. And it's usually during this time of the year that everybody thinks about those things, but you guys do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year and all. And that's a special thing. Most people will stop during the holidays and try and do their best to do something great, but they're so involved otherwise and all. But you guys, carry the burden, straight on, and help so many folks. And we want the folks that really need that support, if that goes all the way down to keeping one of our kids in the right mindset, making it possible for them to go to school and be successful. We know that going to school and being successful at school leads to success in life. And
Amen. Yes,
that's what we want to do.
yes.
Anything
You
else you
know,
want to add?
yes, Rusty, if any of those small schools there in the rural areas, they need for us to build a small pantry there. We can take some non-perishables, bags already made. They're between 18 and 20-pound bags
Wow.
of non-perishable food. And that's what I do here in different areas. We build small pantries. They say we give them 10 bags, 15 bags.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they are running short, they send us an email. We deliver them again. So instead of them having to wait for, let's say they're somewhere in the rural area, the child needs it immediately. Instead of putting the referral in, sending it to us, they can just put down the information of that child and give them that, or to that parent, and give them that bag of food there in that emergency area and the need there, and that could help them instead of waiting for us to send the chaplain over to go and take it, because sometimes it'll take a day or so, depending where you're at, for that child to be served, and they might need it, at the moment. So we would also work with that, with those schools and those agencies.
And that's great. That is great. My wife and I both started teaching at the alternative school in Jackson County. For me, this is my 30th year and all, and so we've seen the effects of being able to support people in those ways that is not connected to curriculum. It's not connected to how well that they score out on the state test. It's not connected to any of the rest of that. And then going back into the community after all these years, that being a part of the community, seeing those kids be successful. They're in Walmart, they have jobs, they're not in jail, they've got their own children. It really does make a huge difference for those kids if they've got somebody who knows how to connect them to people who can help them, so that one day they can help other people. And you guys are doing great work. I appreciate you coming and talking to us today about it. And all well, we got one thing left for the group and all that, and that is catching everybody up and any announcements and all that. But we've had three great speakers today. I think Lexi and Madeline, and of course, Pastor Manny, thank you so much for coming and talking to us today. We're going to do our catch ups with everybody else who's been able to stay with us and all that, and then we're going to sign out for another quarter. But expect to start hearing from some of the folks that we contact and all, because I know the school that my wife and I worked at for all those years. They're going to have your information. They have a backpacking for food program. They need help from folks like you, and they are already overwhelmed. We always were, helping as much as we possibly can, but knowing that other people can come in and help as well is hard for even the staff members who know that you guys are out there. And also, thank you
Thank you so much, Rusty. Thank you all, and have a Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas. All right, let's go down the line. Oh, there's Fred Womack from DJJ. You got anything that you want to get out there?
No, nothing much. Just everybody have a happy holidays and everything. Nothing new from us.
Good, good, good. And thank you for coming. Merry Christmas, and thank you for staying the whole time. I appreciate it. Let's see, Miss Melissa Smith, Bay County.
Hello. I do not have any updates. We're just rocking and rolling down here.
Well, you guys keep good data as well. I'm probably going to hit you guys up to talk about your data collection that that I know that you probably continue to improve and all that. But whenever Kim would share out the data from Bay County, you really could see how these programs are making a huge difference at all. So thank you for coming today.
Yep, just let me know whatever we can do to help.
All right, that's great.
Thank
Miss
you.
Debbie, do you want to add anything else?
No, sir. I figure I've monopolized enough of y'all's time. I apologize for that. But I do appreciate everybody that works to help all of our neighbors in the community. I thank you for that. We all certainly know it's not for the pay that we do this, and it's not for the recognition. We do it to help others. So I pray that everyone has a happy holiday and stay safe.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you for helping me straighten out what I was saying earlier. And all, you're absolutely right. I would never say anything negative about the parents. Any of us that have, yeah, we raised three at my house and all, and life can throw you some curveballs sometimes, and we're all here about helping folks. Now, if you're on the healthcare transition group and all, uh, let's take a 5 minute break after we finish. If you guys have the time to get back together, I've sent you the link and all, and then we can jump on that. Danita, you want to add anything to this meeting? For some
Sorry,
reason.
I was on double mute. Sorry about that.
Oh, double mute.
I just
Okay.
said, yeah, I know. Um, anyway, I just said no, I don't have anything to share other than Merry Christmas and see y'all next year.
All right. And Sassafras?
Hello, everybody. Just want to remind everybody I'm with the Family Network on Disabilities. We help hold parents' hands. So if you're encountering any families that have, children with disabilities of any age, especially transitioning from early steps into the schools or out of the schools or anywhere in between, we are here to give them information, resources. We want parents to never feel like they're alone and know that they have a place to go to get good information and have somebody hold their hand if that's what they need. So thanks, guys. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. All right. Thank you guys so very much. Like I said, we'll take a 5 minute break and I'll see you guys on the other link here in about 5 minutes. All right. Bye. Y'all have a great one.